Your loins and anything else you feel like girding for the gridiron and the start of a new season of American football.
Hello again, everyone. I'm Frank Gifford. From John Smith and myself, a warm welcome to the start of a new American football season here on Channel 4. Our regular season coverage begins next Sunday at the usual time of 6 o'clock. But tonight, we think we're going to whet your appetites by showing you for the first time on Channel 4 the Pro Bowl. That's the NFL's annual all-star game between the best players from the AFC and the best from the NFC. Now, the 1986 game, played a week after Super Bowl 20 back in February, was one of the best Pro Bowls in years, and I'm sure you're going to enjoy it. Also tonight, John and I are going to look forward to the upcoming season. We'll be explaining how the NFL lost a major court case to its rival, the USFL, but still emerged the winner in the end. And they picked up some great players in the process you'll be watching over the course of the year. We're also going to tell you about the players who retired during the offseason, the teams that now have new coaches, and we'll be highlighting the biggest single threat, not just to American football, but to the whole of American sport today. First, though, as this is the start of a new term and there's at least one new face on the Channel 4 team, I thought it might be a good idea if we introduce ourselves. Though in your case, John, it's a reintroduction.
That's right, Frank. This will be my third year on the show, and the reason I'm here has absolutely nothing to do with the fact that I once played soccer for Swindon Town Reserves, Winchester City and Wealdstone in my younger days in Britain. When I tried my luck in the United States, I was taken on by the New England Patriots and was their kicker from 1973 to 1983. I love the job. There's nothing like it for suspense and exhilaration.
As far as my NFL career, well, it was in a different era to John's. I was with the New York Giants from 1952 to 1964 as a running back and a flanker. I played in 5 NFL title games over the course of that time, and I missed one season because of an injury. That was back in 1961, but came back to play 3 more. And since 1972, I've called play-by-play for ABC, and that's just what I was doing on Sunday, February the 2nd, this year at the Pro Bowl. Played in beautiful Hawaii, it's the annual excuse for the best players of the National Football Conference and the best of the American Football Conference to get together. They have a great time, and then they play football against each other in the final game of each season. John, it was back in 1980, I think you played in the Pro Bowl.
Yes. In fact, you're chosen by your fellow professionals around the league, so it's the ultimate honor for a player. It means you're the best in your position at that given time. You certainly enjoy yourself during the week, but when kickoff comes, everyone gets serious.
As you'd expect, the bulk of the players in the Pro Bowl came from the teams that have done well during the season. So the reigning Super Bowl champions, the Chicago Bears, had 8 men on the NFC team. The New England Patriots, the runner-ups, had 7 on the AFC team. Sadly, both Joe Montana of the San Francisco 49ers and quarterback Dan Marino of the Miami Dolphins missed the game through injury, even though they were voted to be here. But it still turned out to be a very good game indeed. 50,000 sun-drenched fans were on hand at the Aloha Bowl in Honolulu, Hawaii. So let's join them now. The NFC had the ball first, but they could do nothing with it. So now the AFC are on their opening drive. With me in the booth are O.J. Simpson and Joe Namath.
At the 49-yard line, first down, AFC. Dan Fouts backfires once again and gets it complete out there to Largett once again, who led the NFL in yardage this past season, now in his 10th year and his 5th Pro Bowl and a great career. Let's take a look at the offensive unit. Dan Fouts holds a lot of Pro Bowl records and a lot of NFL records. 47 300-yard games for Dan Fouts as he's closing in on the passing leaders. Marcus Allen led the NFL in rushing and yardage from scrimmage, had just a sensational year. Great offensive line. As on second down and 3, we watch Marcus Allen work over the right side. He'll be short of the first down inside the 43-yard line of the NFC. Just a sensational year for Marcus Allen. I think they thought with the Raiders, Tom Flores, perhaps that they did not want to work him as much as they really had to work him this year, O.J., and he came through admirably.
Well, they changed that whole offense. The Raiders' philosophy over the years is throw the ball downfield. They had to become a ball control team this year because of the problems that Mark Wilson seemed to be having, and Marcus really came through for him.
On our final game of the season, December the 23rd, it was Marcus Allen who slipped by Gerald Riggs of Atlanta to win the rushing title in the NFL. His third down, a long one. Dan Faust wants a bunch. Checks off. He wanted to go deep to a deep receiver looking for the touchdown, and finally checks off to Marcus Allen. Good heads-up play by Allen, because Lips, I believe, was the intended receiver.
If he would have thrown the ball to Marcus right away, Marcus would have been in the end zone because he's behind the guys who are covering him. There's only one man upfield, as you can see. By the time he got the ball to Marcus, Marcus ran out of room and had to go out of bounds.
Well, in a situation like that, as a quarterback, if you have the time, you want to look for the 6 points first, being the deep receiver, and I'm sure that's what Fouts did. He checked his deep receiver, and then he came back to Marcus as a secondary outlet.
Fouts, of course, replaced Dan Marino. Didn't replace Dan Marino, but he starts ahead of Dan Marino because he was injured and couldn't perform, much like Joe Montana, as we watch Marcus Allen work his way down to the 33-yard line, a gain of about 4 to bring up second down and 6. The big man, Randy White, who's been in 9 Pro Bowls in his 11 NFL seasons with the Cowboys, he made the stop.
I expect the draw plays to work fairly well. That's one kind of blocking scheme you really don't need a lot of work on.
Especially with a defense thinking pass most of the time.
Right.
They marked it at the 32, so it's second down and 5. Fouts tries to get it in to Todd Christensen, and usually you can count on the sure hand of Todd Christensen in a situation like that. He's had 3 great years with the Raiders, but he has not come down with the first down. Let's take a look at the starting defensive unit. Leonard Marshall of the Giants had just a sensational year. He had 15.5 sacks. Harry Carson is back at middle linebacker, as is the Giants' Lawrence Taylor. Lawrence Taylor, along with Singletary, the 2 Pro Bowl players this year who were the only unanimous choices. Third down and 5 again for Dan Fouts. Finally gets it to Wes Chandler. And Fouts' teammate Chandler takes it down inside the 15 to the 12-yard line, and credit the offensive line for the AFC. They gave Dan Fouts a lot of time. Here he is in isolation.
Right, and Chandler does a brilliant job of reading the coverage and then breaking back to the outside, kind of finding the open spot here. You see him break back out. Fouts, he's not the niftiest of quarterbacks afoot, but he did buy some extra time, too, as well, by sliding a little bit left out of the pocket. But, Frank, you were right on the money there the first time with that offensive line. Without the time, I don't think a quarterback's going to get the ball downfield successfully.
9:22 remaining in the first quarter. The AFC on their own drive. Here comes Marcus Allen, right side. Tripped up, slides down inside the 12-yard line, close to the 11-yard line. Dave Durison of the Chicago Bears, who had just a sensational season for the Bears defensively, was in on that stop. Durison, of course, replaced Todd Bell when Todd Bell held out this past season. Todd Bell, ironically, was a Pro Bowler a year ago at this very same position. Dave Durison took over and under Buddy Ryan, who, of course, now is the head coach of Philadelphia, turned in a Pro Bowl-type performance all year long for the Bears defense. Second down and 9. Fouts, a lot of time once again. And he's checking off once again to Steve Largent, and he's inside the 5-yard line. Short of the first down. It'll be third down and 2.
Steve Largent, he continues to amaze me. Every time I think about him, Joe, I think about a ball control receiver, but he's tied with Lance Allworth for having 7,000-yard, receiving years, and he can break that record next year. But for a guy that you think of as being a ball control receiver, that's a lot of yards.
And he's remarkably durable, too. He's been able to avoid the injuries over the years.
Sneaky fast.
Sneaky fast is right.
They're inside the 5-yard line. It's third down and about 3 for the first down, along 2. The NFC defense now can bring their outside linebackers in this situation. Little option play. With Marcus Allen looking as though he might come with the option play back out to Kevin Mack, but Everson Walls broke that up. He got up and made the stop short of the first down. It's decision-making time for the AFC and Don Shula.
Now, this option play is a play we saw San Diego run successfully this year. But you get down around the 4-yard line, looked like he was going to pitch it. You're thinking about getting that ball in the end zone. And I think Marcus may have done the wise thing by keeping the ball on that play.
He really did. Everson Walls did a good job of taking away the pitch man that time, forcing Marcus to keep the ball.
It's like
Well, they now have said that Allen's progress got him up to the first down marker, so his first down goal to go. And Allen perseveres, gets the first down. The AFC keeps the drive alive. Craig James and Marcus Allen, the setbacks. Allen, he's into the end zone, as he did so often this past season. Marcus Allen has scored first here in the 16th Pro Bowl, taking it in from 2 yards out. That was a good drive. It started back at the 37-yard line. Dan Fouts getting a lot of time to throw the ball behind his big offensive line and using Marcus Allen on the ground. Here is Gary Anderson for the conversion. Ron Stark, the punter, is the holder. And the AFC leads here in the Pro Bowl 7-0. We'll be back with more action in just a moment.
Two minutes into the second quarter, the AFC have possession again. 3rd and 5 at their own 35-yard line.
Fouts under pressure, reads it well, and is picked off. And this is Browner of the Vikings. He came to this football game as a special teams performer, selected as a special team performer. Fouts was trying to get the ball to Ozzie Newsome. Browner stepped right in front of it, raced into the end zone. We are conversion of away from a tied game. I don't think Fouts even saw him, Joe.
No, he probably felt him. Quarterbacks work out develop a knack of feeling pressure, and so Dan let it go. But it was a slight underthrow. Had he gotten the ball over top, it could have been completed.
Tell you about Joey Browner. He led his team in tackles this year. He had 184 tackles, and when you consider a guy like Lawrence Taylor led the Giants in tackles with just 104 tackles, he was quite active this year.
To tie it up, Morton Anderson. Phil Simms is the holder. High snap by Hilgenberg. And it bounces off the crossbar and gets through for the conversion. And we have a tie game at 7 and a very happy Joey Browner. The NFC to kick off. That means Morton Anderson, deep, some dangerous talent. Irving Fryer is the principal, standing at the goal line. He's flanked by Louis Lips and Deron Cherry of Kansas City. Anderson puts it up high. Fryer will bring it out from the 3-yard line. Fryer to the 22-yard line, where it'll be first down and 10 AFC.
What's interesting, the next time you see a kickoff is to look at the two guys on both sides nearest the ball, because normally on a 45-man roster, the 44th and 45th guy who makes the team has to play that position. And here we have all-stars. And Joe, you recall the first time we had a special teams meeting in a all-star camp. Who's going to play that position? Nobody wants that position.
Hey, we had one guy that wouldn't even kick off. Verlin Biggs didn't want to kick off unless he got more money. He said, heck, I don't want to run down there.
Money distribution here, of course, 10,000 to the winner, 5,000 to the loser. On first down and 10, Allen found a little opening, squirts out close to the 30-yard line for a gain of 8 before he is dropped there by Durison. It'll be second down and 2.
What a story Dave Durison was. He's second stringer coming into the season. Todd Bell decided not to come to camp, and here he is in the Pro Bowl.
Second down and 2. Tied at 7. 11 minutes and 50 seconds remaining in the first half. Setbacks, Marcus Allen and Craig James. And Allen, Richard Dent reigns all over Allen. They'll mark the progress at the 25-yard line, but Dent carries Allen all the way back inside the 20-yard line.
Two offensive linemen were standing around looking at each other, and John Hanna was confused with Brian Holloway, and those two fellows shouldn't be confused. They play on the same team during the regular season.
And they can't be out of shape. They played just 2 weeks ago.
That was just a good play by old Richard Dent.
Well, it was debatable if they played the second half 2 weeks ago.
Third down now and 7. The loss of Allen by Allen back to the 25-yard line. Craig James will be the single sack setback now for the AFC. Fouts again. Has the time. He finds the receiver, and again is Steve Largent. He's close to an AFC first down. Lawrence Taylor defending there. Lawrence Taylor, 5 years in the league out of North Carolina, 5 Pro Bowls. And as I mentioned earlier, along with Singletary of the Bears, the only 2 unanimous players in the Pro Bowl today.
Well, you'd like your receiver always to get enough yardage for the first down, and Largent cut it close this time, but being the wily veteran that he is, he picked it up.
First down, AFC on the sidelines. Tim Brandt is with Mark Gastineau, the Super Bowl MVP of a year ago.
Had a couple of sacks in that MVP game a year ago out here in the Pro Bowl. How difficult is that, though, Mark, in these very basic defenses?
Well, it's kind of hard after not playing for a while. Since we went to the playoffs, but we only lasted for a little while. You lose your timing and stuff, and it's hard to get the timing and everything back. But I'd like to ask Frank one question up there in the booth. You know, I know it's about 69, maybe 65 degrees up there. How does it feel, Frank, to be sitting up there watching us work down here and sweat?
Frank, I go along with that. You know, I'm down here, too, and it is some kind of hot on this field.
If you're going to watch him, Tim, you may as well watch the best, and tell him that. We watch the best when we watch him.
You watch up there in the booth, and he'll watch us down here, and they are in comfort up here. Let me ask you, for an all-star game, do you gear down at all, or do you keep that same intensity that you have during the regular season?
I think that everybody that is out here on this field are all pros, and they have competitiveness built right into their systems. And there's not one player out here that doesn't want to win or would not like to play as well as he can on national TV. So everybody out here on this field is trying and giving it 110%. And I'd also like to say hi to Brittany, my little girl, because she couldn't make it today, and she's 3 years old, and she's sitting home watching her dad work and suffer out here in this heat in Hawaii.
But he'll be on the beach this afternoon, Frank. I'll guarantee you that.
You saw Largent short of the first down, and what Gastineau said about the competitive nature of these players manifesting itself, particularly when this game comes down and it gets to be close. Now, a lot of them, OJ, have brought friends, they brought wives, they brought girlfriends, and there's only a $5,000 difference. In today's standards, that may not seem like much, but they have pretty much used up everything they are going to make here today already. Third down and 3, Marcus Allen, and he just struggles over the top of players, principally Jim Collins, to get an AFC first down up near the 44-yard line.
Well, Marcus, he must feel pretty good getting that first down, because 2 plays previous to that, while Gastineau was talking, the AFC had one of the best set-up screenplays I've ever seen in an all-star game, and Marcus just dropped the ball.
3 receivers we've seen so far, sure-handed receivers. Craig, Christensen, and Marcus drop passes in this game. Hey, it can happen to the best of them.
First and 10 now for Dan Fouts. Looking over the defense. Nothing strange about it, and he drops back. Under pressure once again, and he dumps it off to Marcus Allen, and Allen will get a couple of yards out of it. It'll be second down and 8. At the 48-yard line, the AFC, second down and 3. Marcus Allen, a former high school quarterback, lofts one up deep. Oh, that's Wes Chandler.
All right.
He comes down with it. Marcus Allen has got to be chuckling to himself. He put that up almost to the top of the stadium. Durison was with Wes Chandler, who kept his concentration, his eyes on the football of the AFC, get the ball into the end zone.
Well, Wes never did have to break his stride, even though he appeared to have to make an adjustment to the ball.
Marcus Allen was a high school quarterback back at San Diego, but this one, I hope he didn't throw them all like this, OJ. He really put some loft on this beauty. 51 yards.
Well, as we said, a great catch. That was just a super effort by Wes Chandler, because he made a nice adjustment to the ball, and he didn't have to break his stride. And with a receiver like Chandler, you just want to get the ball out there, and they'll run under it.
Durison was in position, but he couldn't find the football.
Gary Anderson for the conversion. The AFC goes back out on top. 51-yard touchdown pass. Marcus Allen to Wes Chandler. There he is. He's coming off a great season.
The NFC's problems increased on their next drive when Jim McMahon was intercepted deep inside his own half by Denver's Louis Wright. But this time the AFC had to settle for a 35-yard field goal by New Orleans' Morton Anderson to take a 17-7 lead.
As the AFC kicks off, this will be Ron Brown of the Rams. The Rams, Ron Brown. and upended at the 19-yard line. Sprawls out close to the 20 where it'll be first down AFC. And hustling down there, Lance Mel of the Jets playing in his first Pro Bowl. First one he has been voted to, and it is a vote of coaches and players that get you here. And of course, over the years, Lance Mel has been just spectacular with the Jets.
I was talking with Lance yesterday, and that Jet football team, well, they're pretty proud of themselves. You know, they won 11 football games and made the playoffs with a new defensive scheme. Bud Carson, the coach that went to the Jets as defensive coordinator last year, put a new defense in. The team still doesn't have it worked out, yet they made the playoffs with 11 victories. That's quite an accomplishment.
Ball is loose with a draw play to Riggs. And Riggs hustles up and covers it. Makes the recovery himself. There'll be a loss of about a yard, so it'll be second down and 11.
Well, that's one of those new rules they have. Well, the quarterback, he'll get credit for those type of fumbles. You got to get the ball to the running back, and once again, these guys have not worked together. And surprisingly, it will surprise you how differently a back will take a handoff. Some guys are low, some guys are high, and quarterback really has to concentrate in getting the ball to them.
Have to look it right in. You burn your eyes right into that pocket and hand it there.
Second and 11. Whoa! The attempt was to Art Monk. It was almost picked off by Dennis Smith of the Broncos. He had his eye on it all the way. Smith had a big year with the Broncos, playing in his first Pro Bowl.
While he was at USC, he lined up at the two safety spots. It was Ronnie Lott and Dennis Smith. Pretty good pair of safeties.
Ronnie Lott, of course, missing the Pro Bowl for the first time in many years, as is Lester Hayes for the AFC.
Boy, you think of some of the guys, Eric Dickerson and James Wilder, some great football players who are not here.
You got to think, what do I have to do to get here? Third down and 11. McMahon, Mr. Personality, the Chicago Bears, will move from the shotgun. And Gastineau is there, strips the ball. Gastineau, I don't know whether he can sack dance around here or not. If the same rules apply, there would be a penalty assessed, but Mark is charging up the crowd.
Well, interestingly enough, Jackie Slater was not on the field on that play. It was Jackie Slater who went after Gastineau for dancing on the field after he beat him for a sack. And I think more than anything, it was because of that incident that they had the rule of no celebrating after sacks.
AFC gets the football back inside the 11-yard line. O'Brien, he's under pressure, slides away from it, has a lot of time now. He puts one up for grabs in the end zone, and the AFC comes down with it.
Louis Lips.
Louis Lips of the Pittsburgh Steelers. That was one of those you almost had to call a fair catch for.
Well, that's two jump balls that the AFC rebounds, I should say, that they got for touchdowns.
That's right, but I'm concerned right now with Kenny O'Brien's right hand. He fell on it. He's carrying it. Well, he's very concerned with it right now. We'll find out what went wrong with it or what is wrong with it.
Gary Anderson again for the conversion. McMahon interception, a McMahon fumble, and the AFC are beginning to outdistance the NFC. High snap by Mike Webster. Stark gets it down. So Rillon Jones, who made the recovery, sets up the AFC touchdown pass. And a strange one indeed it was, coming from Ken O'Brien. Here it is again. Way up in the air, Louis Lips, a lot of concentration, stayed with it. Comes down. Gary Green of the Rams was nearby, but he couldn't get it away. Let's take a look at Lips in isolation.
Really a well-designed play. It works out just the way we draw it up on the blackboard.
Yeah.
Green is all over Louis Lips. Tried to take his wardrobe off there. Up they go, and Lips comes down with it. The AFC extends their lead to 24-7.
The AFC, with the Jets' Ken O'Brien now at quarterback, are on their opening drive of the second half. 2nd and 10 in midfield.
Ball gets away from O'Brien and is loose. And this is what the NFC would like to get, and that's the turnover, and they do get it. So the NFC gets a break. They get the football back. The bottom of that pile. There he is, number 54, Randy White. The Dallas Cowboys playing in his 9th Pro Bowl game. Still one of the dominant forces in the National Football League is Randy White, now in his 11th season.
It's one of the difficult things about this game, too, is the quarterback-center exchange. Having only 1 week to work with the center, you're going to have a fumble now and then. During the regular season, you're used to your center. You don't have as many fumbles.
Bill Sims of the Giants is the quarterback for the NFC. Roger Craig looking for yardage. He'll lose back to midfield. It'll be second down at 11. And down on the sidelines, Tim Brent is with Marcus Allen.
One of the MVPs this year in the National Football League. Marcus scored in the first half, and it is hot down here. How you holding up?
I'm holding up pretty well. You know, the guys are in pretty good shape, and we're just excited to be here and having a good time. I've been spending most of my time at Burger King waiting for Herb to show up, but he hasn't arrived. I wanted to win some money, but it's not going to happen this trip.
I thought you were Herb. Let me ask you something. In the very basic situation and the way they set this thing up offensively and defensively, does it make it tougher on you as a runner?
No, these guys are professionals. They're bright, intelligent guys, and they can pick up systems really fast, and that's what we've done today.
Great year for the Raiders again. Came up a little bit shy. How close are you? What do you have to do next year to get back to the big one?
Well, I think it was a good year for us, and we're proud of that fact. But as far as our expectations are concerned, it wasn't good enough. 11-4 season or 11-5 season would be great for a lot of people, but we want to win the big one. That's what it's all about. And my hat's off to the Chicago Bears and New England Patriots who beat us. But I just think if we continue on the path that we're doing right now, we'll do okay.
Congratulations, Mark.
All right.
All right, back upstairs, Frank.
And Sims is back once again. He's hit Cosby for the first down for the NFC. Down at the 27-yard line, he comes back to another tight end, Jimmy Giles, and Giles comes down with the football close to another first down near the 17-yard line. So Phil Sims has the NFC moving once again.
Well, as we listen to Marcus try to get some commercial deals going for himself, it was funny listening to Don Shula talk about the backs. He was saying how impressed he was on Freeman McNeil, but how Marcus is hard to tell in practice because he's so cool in practice, but he's always under control.
Giles is about a foot short of the first down. His second down, short yardage. Roger Craig, he spins and twists, and he'll have the first down at the 16-yard line. Roger Craig, again, the first player in NFL history to get 1,000 yards rushing and receiving for the same season. Sparkling year for Roger Craig. The NFC trailing here in the third quarter, 24-7. They changed the setback. Still Morris is in. Number 20 of the Giants. Earl Riggs of Atlanta, number 42. Sends it back, has the time, looks in the corner, and Mike Quick was there. Mike Haynes was covering, but Quick was open for a moment.
Quick runs a nice post corner pattern here. He drives to the inside and cuts out. Nice pattern. He had his man beaten. It just Field couldn't get the ball to him. Just missed the pass, or he overthrew the pass is what I should say.
Here to try to throw it on the line is look to be one of those passes you should throw a little up and over, let the guy run under it.
And that comes again with timing, you know. He may not have been ready to throw then, and that's why he had to put more heat on the ball to get it out there. Maybe Field was a little late.
It'll be second down and 10. The ball near the 15-yard line. Sims looking for Art Monk. Yes, touchdown, working against Louis Wright. Art Monk, he set an NFL record in receptions a couple of years ago and had a tremendous season this year with 91 receptions. Makes a tremendous catch working against Louis Wright. A lot of concentration. The ball was loose for a moment. There's Louis Wright, number 20. Keeps his eyes on the football, and he comes down with it in the end zone.
Great individual effort here. This is the kind of play you expect to see now and then from these all-stars. And it's designed this way. They expect Monk to adjust to the football. He does it well. He does it better than most receivers.
Well, when the guy's covered like that, they try to throw the ball to the back of the helmet of the corner who's covered him, and they expect him to adjust to the ball, and that's exactly what he did.
Anderson brings the NFC All-Stars to within 10 points.
The fourth quarter now. The NFC's ball again. First and 10 at the AFC's 32.
Bill Sims looks it over. Dumps it off to Riggs, and Gerald cannot hold on. And on the sidelines with Dan Faust, Tim Bryant.
Danny, of course, holds the all-time passing records in this game, and only one touchdown, though, in the last couple of games you were over here. But this team has really performed well, the AFC. What is the reason for that? Have you guys great practices or what?
Well, Coach Shula has put in a solid game plan for us, and we did work hard this week. You know, you come over here and you got a lot of distractions, but we practiced very hard, and I think it's showing today in the field.
How difficult is it when you bring all these guys together and you try to put in an offensive system?
Well, I think the main thing is communication and being able to use different terminologies, intermixed terminologies here, and not worry about whether you call the play right, just as long as everybody is on the same page and knows what to do.
And, of course, the defense has to stay much more basic than it normally does. I mean, you're not facing the type of blitzes you get, or at least you're not supposed to.
I'll tell you what happened. We come down the first series and didn't get any pass pressure on the quarterback at all. The second series, they come in with a double stunt, and I throw the interception. So they have ways of taking care of our pass blocking. I know that.
What's it look like now for the future, the San Diego Chargers?
I think we're headed in the right direction. We had an excellent year last year for a young team in transition, and the feeling on the ball club is very positive.
Okay, thank you very much.
You bet, Tim.
All right, Frank.
Bill Sims has hit that Cosby for a first down. They're at the 14-yard line, and the handoff is to Roger Craig, and Craig is down close to the 5-yard line. Sims now 10 of 21, 141 yards and 1 touchdown.
You know, watching Fouts, you know, Mike Ditka, I think, was one of the few great players that become a successful head coach winning the Super Bowl. I think Fouts is going to be a great head coach one day. He really seems to understand the game, and the players seem to really have a lot of respect for him.
He does understand the game, that's for sure. He's one of the smartest quarterbacks in the league.
Second down and 2. NFC threatening. Riggs barreling down to about the 2-yard line. He'll have an NFC first down. For the NFC, John Robinson has the 2 tight ends in the ball game. And Joe Morris is hammered back. Lance Mill leading the way along with Joe Klecko, a pair of Jets against a Giant.
Well,
He not only has 2 tight ends in there, Frank, I just noticed, but Russ Grimm was playing tight end on the left side, and he has Jimmy Giles and Cosby in the game as well.
All the big folks in. Second down goal to go. Morris carried it to the 2-yard line. And now the setbacks in the huddle for the NFC are Joe Morris, number 20, and Roger Craig, number 33. Sims looking to the back of the end zone, and Cosby, who picked up the first down a few moments ago, gets the touchdown for the NFC, and this one draws ever closer. Lance Mill trying to defend against Cosby. And Cosby works so well in that end zone. The big man, a big target in there, Joe, at 6'6".
Big target and a smart receiver, too. He knows how to find the open spots. He's just cutting across the back of the end zone, finds the open spot, and turns up in it.
And he had to make sure both those feet stayed in bounds. He did just that. Mort Anderson for the conversion. And the NFC has pulled within a field goal to the AFC.
So the NFC fight back continues, but now the AFC have strong field position. 2nd and 6 on the NFC's 12-yard line.
O'Brien with a lot of time. And it's picked off. Picked off in the end zone. Mike Singletary, the heart and soul of that Bear defense, stepped in front of the intended receiver, Ozzie Newsome, and the NFC, trailing by 3 points, gets the football back. They'll have it at the 20-yard line, and they have 7:57 remaining to play in the game. Mike Singletary, and OJ, if he's not the best in the middle, he's certainly one of them.
one of the great ones, son of a preacher man.
Singletary got the turnover for the NFC. They have the football back at their own 20-yard line. And Phil Sims goes right to work. Tries to squeeze it in underneath that zone to Joe Morris and could have lost it. Let's go back and take a look at it. O'Brien had all the time in the world, Joe, and this is what you would describe as an ugly interception?
Yeah, you know, all interceptions are ugly for quarterbacks, but the old coyote ugly comes in here. Anytime you're in scoring position, you don't want to lose yardage. You certainly don't want to turn the ball over. At least you want to go away with 3 points, and that's the worst mistake a quarterback could make. It was a good interception, but he threw the ball right to the defender, right to Mike Singletary.
For the AFC, 4 turnovers, 3 interceptions, and 1 fumble. The NFC Had 2, 1 interception and 1 fumble, and this is Roger Craig, left side, 3 yards, giving 4. It'll be 3rd down and about 5. Tim Brand is with a great pal of mine, Paul Horning on the sidelines, class of '86, Hall of Fame.
Elected into the Hall of Fame, Frank, it is long overdue, and congratulations, Paul.
Thank you very much, Tim. It's good to be here finally.
Let me take you back over the years. What is your fondest memory in all those glory years for the Green Bay Packers?
Well, I guess having the opportunity to play for the coach, Vince Lombardi, and having had the opportunity to play on 4 championship teams. And looking back, I'd have to say that.
Do you still see the old guys every once in a while?
Oh, sure. I get back up there all the time. I worked at Green Bay Packer preseason, and I see McGee a lot. McGee and I still fool around a lot together, only now we don't get fined for staying out late.
Well, congratulations. I'm sure there was a couple times when you must have thought this day may never even come.
Yeah, I'm very happy. I tell you, it's been a great week, and of course it'll culminate back at Canton in about 6 months. So I'm looking forward to it, and I just want to, thank everybody who's been behind me all these years.
Congratulations to you.
Thank you, Tim.
Okay, Frank.
Horning played 9 years, scoring leader of the NFL, 59, 60, 61, suspended in 1963, and to me, he showed the most class and style of many football players I've known over the years when he handled that suspension for gambling on his own team at that time, and he handled it so well. Came back to once again perform like an all-star. Phil Simms on 1st down loses the football but is covered quickly and fortunately by Joe Morris. The pressure came from Rulon Jones and Andre Tippett.
And very good coverage downfield by Lance Mell and Carl Mecklenburg. What Simms was trying to do was hit Jimmy Giles on the crossing pattern, and both linebackers had beautiful coverage on Giles, and he couldn't get the ball to him.
6:02, and the clock is moving. That's the time remaining here in the 4th quarter of the Pro Bowl. The AFC holding on to a 3-point lead. They led 24-7 at halftime, but the NFC has roared back. Well, I wouldn't exactly call it roaring back, but they are back. Gerald Riggs puffing it around in the middle of that line by the AFC defensive unit headed by Carl Mecklenburg, who had a great season for Danny Reeves. Played just about every spot they had defensively for Reeves. Now in his 3rd year, Mecklenburg, the 12th round pick out of Minnesota, has turned into a real all-star for those Broncos. 3rd down, long yardage. 3 wide receivers. And they're great ones. Mike Quick of the Eagles, number 82, Lofton of Green Bay, number 83, and Tony Hill. And now there are 4 wide receivers as Art Monk is in there with them. Simms throws under the coverage to Art Monk, who knew absolutely where he was. He gets the 1st down by less than a yard in front of linebacker Clay Matthews, and the NFC keeps their drive alive.
Fine heads-up play by Phil Simms, holding on to that ball, buying time by moving around. And, of course, Art Monk, the All-Pro, getting enough depth for the 1st down.
What a difference when you have a veteran and somebody like an Art Monk. He knew exactly where he had to be. Simms had a lot of field in front of him. Other quarterbacks might have taken off and run with it. Simms knew that on 3rd and long, he needed more than he would pick up running, and they get the 1st down. Morris, again, the fake reverse, and Morris takes it back inside and breaks a tackle to the 35-yard line for another NFC 1st down.
I like Joe Morris. He says, you worry about faking the reverse. I'm getting this ball upfield. That's the 2nd time he's done it. And the 1st time he gained 8 yards on this play, it appeared to gain about 12 to 13 yards.
You know, Bill Parcells has told us over the past couple of years, OJ, you were there last year, he said, we don't like to run him too much. He told us this last year. Bill Parcells has done a tremendous job back there at the Giants, along with general manager George Young. But all of a sudden this year, they were running him every time they had an opportunity to, and he really responded. 294 attempts, over 1,300 yards for the little man. And here's Gerald Riggs. He had over 1,700 yards rushing. He gets a couple. It'll be 2nd down and 8. Tackled by Mecklenburg of the Denver Broncos. Gerald Riggs, who really came into his own at the beginning of the '84 season with the severe injury to William Andrews. He had 8 in '84. He had over 1,400 yards in this past season. As I mentioned, over 1,700 yards. 2nd down and 8. NFC trailing by 3. Phil Simms, great timing pass to Art Monk. Beautifully thrown. He delivered the ball before Monk had broken to the sidelines. Another NFC first down at the 15-yard line, and this was beautifully executed.
You're right, Frank. You put it on the money. Beautifully thrown. The timing was there. Monk just runs an out pattern, and with this kind of timing and the accurate pass, well, you're not going to defend against a play like that.
Take a look at the route of Art Monk. You have to respect Art Monk. He doesn't have a blazing speed, but he's got the defender moving back. Louis Wright broke it off. The ball was in the air just as he broke, and it was picture perfect. And a first down for the NFC into the 15-yard line. The intensity building here. The NFC trailing by 3. We're late in the fourth period. Sims looking for the touchdown in the end zone to Jimmy Giles. And Giles of Tampa Bay comes down with the touchdown that puts the NFC ahead for the first time today.
I tell you, talk about pride in players of this caliber. Down by 17 points here in the third quarter. They're all the way back now. They're taking the lead, and I tell you, in this game, I've seen it happen more than once, and I played in 3 games when one team was at least 14 points down and came back to win the game.
Bill Sims now 15 of 27, 210 yards. He's thrown 3 touchdowns. Really have to admire this young man. So many years in the early going of his career, suffering with injuries. Last year, went the entire season over 4,000 yards, setting a giant record for yardage passing. And that includes Tittle and Connolly. He's having a great day.
The NFC in front for the first time, and they stayed in front to the end. When Dan Fouts was intercepted by Leroy Irvin inside the last 2 minutes, the AFC's last hope was gone. So Phil Simms had led the NFC to a really excellent come-from-behind victory.
I hope you've enjoyed our first look at the Pro Bowl here on Channel 4. And incidentally, I'll have a new partner in the ABC commentary booth this year. You're going to like him. Al Michaels, he'll be doing the play-by-play, and I'll be hosting and doing the color. Right now, let's take a look back at what's been happening around the NFL since the Pro Bowl that was played in February. And we start with the biggest off-the-field battle the NFL has ever known. In 1985, the NFL's rival league, the USFL, the United States Football League, sued the NFL for $1.5 billion. Now, the USFL played for 3 years, and they played in the spring. But most of the teams lost money, and this year, they wanted to go head-and-head with the NFL, and they wanted to play in the autumn at the same time as the NFL plays. It accused the NFL of being a monopoly and of using a number of ploys to keep the USFL out, principally by preventing it from obtaining the network television contract it had to have to survive. Well, the trial took place this summer, and the NFL was found guilty of monopolizing football in the autumn. But the jury decided that it had done nothing deliberately to threaten the USFL's existence, and that its monopoly was not responsible for the USFL's financial troubles. Consequently, the USFL was awarded just $1, not $1.5 billion, and as a result, it's as good as dead. They've suspended operations until 1987, but few people believe it will ever survive again. Almost immediately after the verdict was announced, some of the USFL's top players were released to join the NFL. To the Buffalo Bills comes quarterback Jim Kelly. In 2 seasons with the Houston Gamblers, Kelly passed for almost 10,000 yards and 83 touchdowns, and his $8 million 5-year contract is the biggest in NFL history. From the New Jersey Generals to the Dallas Cowboys comes a great one, running back Herschel Walker, who in 1985 rushed for a pro football record 2,411 yards. Walker will team up with Tony Dorsett for what could be the most dynamic rushing duo in the NFL if they can ever put them together. Dorsett is not happy. He earns $450,000 a year. Walker is on $1 million level. Running back Kelvin Bryant joins the Washington Redskins from the Baltimore, previously the Philadelphia Stars. In my opinion, he'll be the most significant player to come from the USFL. In 3 seasons with the Stars, he rushed for 4,055 yards and he caught 141 passes. The NFL will indeed be a star-studded league in 1986, and a lot of the stars have come from the USFL.
As Washington prepare to welcome one top-class running back, so they say goodbye to one of the greatest of them all. John Riggins has called it a day after 14 seasons in the NFL. His final total of 11,352 rushing yards is the 4th highest in NFL history. Joe Theismann's career is also over, as we feared it would be when he broke his leg so badly against the New York Giants last year. Joe threw for more than 25,000 yards in his dozen NFL seasons. He'll be commentating for CBS this year. The LA Raiders warhorse Lyle Alzado has retired. He once went 8 rounds in an exhibition with Muhammad Ali. Heaven knows how many rounds he went during the 15 seasons in the NFL. Among others to retire, New Orleans running back Earl Campbell, best remembered for some great years at Houston. John Hanna, offensive guard of the New England Patriots, perhaps the best lineman ever. Leroy Selman, Tampa Bay's first ever draft choice in 1976, and the last of the Bucs originals to leave the team. And 30-year-old Billy Sims, running back of the Detroit Lions. He missed last season with a knee injury, and that injury has now ended his career.
As all the teams reduced their rosters to 45 players this week, so several well-known names found themselves without jobs. Cut by Miami, 2 of the Killer Bees, Jay Brophy, the linebacker, and Kim Bokamper, the defensive end. And by the Green Bay Packers, quarterback Lynn Dickey. The 2 major quarterback moves of the offseason took Gary Hogaboom from Dallas to Indianapolis and Steve Bartkowski from Atlanta to the Los Angeles Rams. And here is the star who got away, running back Bo Jackson of Auburn, the #1 pick in the college draft. He was due to join Tampa Bay, but Jackson, a great all-around sportsman, chose baseball for his profession and joined the world champion Kansas City Royals.
The most significant change on the coaching front saw Buddy Ryan, the mastermind of the Chicago Bears defense last year, take over as head coach of the Philadelphia Eagles from Marion Campbell. Jerry Burns is now Minnesota's head coach after 18 years as their offensive coordinator, most of them under Bud Grant, the man he replaces. Gene Stallings takes over from Jim Hannafin at St. Louis. He was a defensive coach with Dallas for 14 years. And Jim Mora joins New Orleans from Baltimore, previously Philadelphia Stars of the USFL. Mora led the Stars to USFL titles in 1984 and 1985.
And John, television could play a decisive role in the NFL games this year. Instant replays will be used to settle disputes on change of possession, out of bounds, and goal line plays. An official in the stands will watch the game on television monitors, and with the help of slow motion replays, will decide whether a disputed call should be reversed. So, as always, the NFL is looking to improve its product as the 1986 season begins, but one problem, of course, continues to tarnish its image, just as it plagues so much of life today here in the United States. That problem is drugs.
Literally the day after the New England Patriots lost the Super Bowl to the Chicago Bears, a newspaper claimed that half a dozen Patriots had been taking drugs prior to the game. Coach Raymond Berry denied this, but admitted that certain players had been on drug rehabilitation programs before the start of the 1985 season. In March, Lawrence Taylor of the New York Giants disclosed that he had a drugs and alcohol problem and was seeking professional help. Then it emerged that 57 of the top 300 college prospects for the 1986 draft used drugs of some kind. Finally, tragically, in the summer, Don Rogers, defensive back of the Cleveland Browns, died of a massive heart attack brought on by an overdose of cocaine. To counter the drugs threat, Commissioner Pete Rozelle announced a compulsory drug testing program on all NFL players. But the Players Association has rejected the plan, and it's gone to arbitration, and nothing has been decided.
I don't really have an answer or a solution to the drug problem in the National Football League, but I do feel strongly that the commissioner has taken a step. He wants random drug testing. The players' bargaining agreement disagrees with that. They say they do not have to do that. And they also hide behind the right of privacy issue, which all Americans feel very strongly about. But as I pointed out once before at the Pro Bowl at halftime, if something isn't done and done very quickly, there will be nothing to bargain over or nothing to be private about. And that's how strongly the American public feel about the drug issue, not only in pro football, but in all of sport. Finally, tonight, a reminder that our coverage of the 1986 regular season begins here on Channel 4 next Sunday at 6 o'clock, so be with us. Your tip to win Super Bowl 21, John, give us the word.
I think the Bears again, but they'll beat the Broncos in the Super Bowl.
All right, I'll give you one. I think the New York Giants will beat the New York Jets. You think New York won't be fired up? And as the American season gets underway, so the British season draws to a close. And last weekend, the Budweiser League reached its climax with the London Ravens beating the Streatham Olympians 20-12 to win the first ever Budweiser Bowl. You know, the Ravens won every game they played this season, averaging some 60 points per game. Chicago Bears, eat your hearts out. We'll see you next Sunday. And until then, from John and myself, good night.
Good night.
Anything you can do, I can do better. I can do anything better than you.
No, you can't.
Yes, I can.
No, you can't.
Yes, I can.
No, you can't.
Yes, I can. Yes, I can.
Anything you can beat, I can beat greater. Sooner or later, I'm greater than you.
No, you're not.
Yes, I am.
No, you're not.
Yes, I am.
No, you're not.
Yes, I am. Yes, I am. I can shoot a partridge with a single cartridge.
I can get a sparrow with a bow and arrow.
I can live on bread and cheese.
And only on that?
Yes.
So can a rat. Anything you can buy, I can buy cheaper. I can buy anything cheaper than you.
50 cents.
40 cents.
30 cents.
20 cents.
Ah, you can't.
Yes, I can. Yes, I can.
Any note you can hold, I can hold longer.
I can hold any note longer than you.
No, you can't.
Yes, I can.
No, you can't.
Yes, I can.
No, you can't.
Yes, I can.
No,
Yes,
you can't.